Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be starting our reading vlog for our August book. And as everyone knows, we are reading Tress of the Emerald Sea. I've definitely been putting this book off because Brandon Sanderson is just like a scary author. They just have so much to their backlist. And I've yet to read anything other than Secret Project number 2, which is Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval England, something like that. Gave it a 4-star, really liked it. My husband gave it a 5, loved it. But it's totally different. Like, this is actually in his like Cosmere world. So I've just been so terrified to read it. But I've been told by many people, you don't need to read the rest of the books to read this one. This one's more of like a cute fairy tale kind of like side quest kind of thing going on. So I'm like, okay, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And also I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers that I've bought this year. It's so pretty. I actually like this cover better than the like special edition that they do. I liked the Frugal Wizard's Guide special edition better than the regular one, so I have both of those. But I don't think I'm gonna get the fancy edition of this just because I love this so much. I don't need the fancy one, but we'll see. Haven't decided yet. Kind of depends if I like the book. I don't know. But all I know about this one is that we are following our main character Tress, who I feel like is that like a Rapunzel thing? Like, I guess she doesn't have long hair, so maybe not. But anytime I hear Tress, I think of Rapunzel. And I think that's because isn't the main character in like the Marissa Myers Cinder series, isn't she Tress? Oh no, it's Cress. Okay, that's where I'm getting confused. But anyway, this is our August book. All I know about it is it's like fairy tale-esque kind of thing going on. And it's on a world that is much different than ours, where the water is spores instead of actual water. Like the seas are made of spores from the moons instead of water. So that's very interesting. That is very different than anything that I've read. So very curious about that. And I'm very excited to get into this. And I know it's told in different parts, so I feel like that's gonna be really good for updating. So I'm excited about that. So let's jump right into the spoiler vlog. Oh, this is the Lazy Book Club. And if you have read this, continue on. This is full spoilers. If you have not read this and you don't want spoilers, stop. Stop, because this is, I mean, full spoiler. We talk about the whole thing, etc. as we go on. It's like revealing spoilers as I read the book. So if you don't want spoilers, this is not the video for you. But continue on if you want spoilers and to talk about the book. So let's get into reading this one. Okay. I did not think that I was going to enjoy this as much as I have been enjoying it. So obviously not that far in. I am through part 1. I am just starting part 2, but I already have so much things, like, well, to me, so many things, 4 tabs. I have some things tabbed, and I'm using the Owl Crate? Using the Owl Crate little like highlighter tabs, which are really cool for quotes, because this is so funny. This is so funny. I went into this thinking this was a Rapunzel retelling, which it is not. Well, like, I guess the hair is. The hair is very Rapunzel. However, I read something and I realized it's a Princess Bride like retelling, but gender swapped. Yes, it is. It's so funny. The narrator is like dry humor and quirky, and everything is like serious, but it's actually like satire at the same time. People are saying things very seriously, but it's hilarious stuff. So it's just like this dry, absurd humor, and I am loving it. I am loving it, and I love that this is like an adventure but like cute romance story. I think this is a really good example of a female character who doesn't have to be this like crazy badass. She's just a normal girl. Normal girls are still strong women, because what is the real definition of a strong woman? I feel like this is the conversation that's come up a lot because of all the Snow White drama, where she's talking about how this isn't your 1930s or whatever. She's a strong woman. She doesn't need a romance. But like, a lot of women want romance. So what? A lot of people just like romance. It doesn't make you weak or anything. So I feel like that's working for this, is she's just a girl trying to rescue a dumb boy, and it's great. It's so great. Some of my favorite quotes are, so basically I'm at the point where she has to go save Charlie. I love Charlie. Charlie is the cinnamon roll of all cinnamon rolls. He's an idiot. I love him. He's so funny. And the fact that Tress puts up with him, I just love it. I absolutely love it. He doesn't have to be Prince Charming. He's basically like, kind of reminds me of like Kristoff from Frozen, just kind of an idiot, but you love him anyway. Anyway, he's the Duke's son, which I loved him faking that he wasn't the Duke, and like they both knew that he wasn't. or that he was, but she was pretending he wasn't. I love that. So funny. But I love, so yeah, what just happened is that Charlie had to go with his dad and he's supposed to get married, and so he basically is like, I'm gonna sabotage all these things because I don't want to marry them, because Tress asks him to not get married, which I loved, because I feel like in other books, if that was the conversation, the heroine would have been like, I wish you well, blah blah blah, not said anything, but Tress is like, no, don't get married. And I was like, thank you, she just straight up said what she wanted. I loved that. I love that he's sabotaging these, and I did some of like the little highlighter sticky notes if you can see them, and it's, well, the first attempt was with heroic monotony. He had listed the sounds his stomach made when he lay in various positions at night. As that hadn't been quite enough, he then explained how he kept his toenail clippings and gave them names. Charlie is the Prince Charming that we all want. The way he is proving his love to Tress by literally just sabotaging everything else, and I love it. My favorite one was, oh, and then she calls him, be brave, my mildly gross knight. I love that. And then my favorite one was the vomit one. I almost died. I thought they had him at the Fifth Kingdom, as that princess was deaf, but the young master went and threw up on her at dinner. That is so funny. But they're saying it in like such a straight-faced way. It's so Princess Bride. It's just like, it's perfect. I am so excited to continue reading it, but I really wanted to give an update at each like part. So that's kind of my update. I'm loving it. I think it is so much fun. And yeah, just having a great time. Hopefully everyone's also having a great time already. Okay, so I finished part 2. And I definitely feel different about it than I did after the first part. I feel like part 2 took away all of the humor, which these parts are very short. I feel like when I normally read a book that has a bunch of parts, the parts are like a couple hundred pages or something, but this is like 60 pages per part. So, I mean, not a ton happens. I'm so torn on it, because part of me likes the scene where she's like walking across the spores, which was wild. That was really cool. But overall, I don't know. I really liked the dry humor in the first part, and I just didn't have that in the second part. I feel like the purpose of the second part was meeting the talking rat, which is an interesting development. I don't know how I feel about that. I do like the end where she gets pulled up on the ship and she grabs a scrubber and just immediately starts scrubbing so they don't throw her off board. So I just hope they continue with the weird humor from part 1, because I'm a little suspicious after reading part 2. It's not like I didn't like it, I'm just not like gushing over it like I was gushing over part 1. So that's kind of where I'm at. Not really much to talk about in the second part. I do like that we finally got a demonstration of what the spores do when they get wet. I also thought part 2 was weirdly grotesque. I wasn't expecting it to be just kind of like body horror-esque. That was kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that, because I was expecting, again, humor, funny kind of things, and then all of a sudden vines growing through people's eyeballs and their body, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm curious how much more of that we're gonna see, because that seemed very not on par with part 1. So I'm, again, very curious about that. So we're gonna continue reading, and we're gonna see what happens in part 3. Okay, it is Thursday morning, August 31st. I'm really trying to finish this book today. I would like for it to be in my August wrap-up instead of my September wrap-up. I don't know if that's gonna happen because I worked today. If I didn't work today, easy, I would finish it today, because I think I'm past the halfway point. This is where I'm at. See, I still got a lot left, and that's taken me like 4 days to read. So I actually skipped talking about part 3 because I really did not have anything to say. It felt exactly the same as part 2. So I really didn't have anything to say about part 3. Other than I was really excited for her to get off the ship, and then she decided to stay on the ship, and the ship is the part that I'm struggling with, that I wasn't liking. I thought we were going to go on this like grand adventure, meet lots of people, and that was kind of frustrating that she stayed on the ship, and I started majorly struggling going into part 4, and I was really starting to not like the book. I ended up picking up the audiobook from Libro because I am just really struggling. And I like the narrator for the audiobook. So I because I have the audiobook, I may be able to finish it today because I can listen to it at work. And none of my friends are working today, which is like the first time ever. So, well, there's a couple of my friends working. Like at 6 o'clock, one of my friends is starting her shift because she goes into night shift. But from 2 to 6, no one that I'm like super good friends with is there. So I think I should be able to listen to a lot of the book, and I definitely don't have 4 hours of audiobook left. I don't know. I probably have like 2 or 3 maybe. I haven't checked. I guess it could be 4. But anyway, I'm gonna read a lot this morning. It's only like 9:30 and I don't have to leave until 1 o'clock. So I have time. I do need to do a quick yoga. I was going to do 45 minutes of yoga, but that's a lot before work. Like I would be in so much pain before work. And yes, yoga causes me pain because I have hypertonic muscles. They're super, super stressed, super, super tight all the time. So yoga is just really hard for me, but it's doing good things. I think it's actually helping a lot. So I'm going to probably just do a 10 or 20 minute one. And that way I can release some of the tension in my muscles, but not work them too hard. The issue is working them too hard and then being really sore for work. Because I'm on my feet a lot for work, so that would just be too much. So I think that's what I'm going to do. About 20-minute yoga session. I know which one I want to do. And then I'm going to keep reading. Moving on to the actual update. I have finished part 4. I'm about to start part 5. And I am liking it more. I am liking it more. And I think the reason for that is I feel like I'm getting a lot of background on characters finally, and we're actually starting to establish characters and people and getting to know them, because I'm very character focused when I read books. I get very, very invested in characters. So now that we have like more than just following Tress, I'm enjoying it more. That's kind of the thing that's going on. I do wish there was more going on. I like that Crow is like this weird entity that has the parasitic spores living in her. I liked that addition. I thought that was really cool. I love, what is his name? Ulam, the weird doctor. He cracks me up. I really love the addition of him. And I like that Tress has found like a little group of people that she's hanging out with. I enjoy that. I am starting to enjoy it more, but we'll see. Hopefully it continues on this trajectory and it just gets more, like, I just want more happening. Like, I want more excitement. I'm just bored. So apparently I just have no patience. I was going to update after part 5, but I ended up going to work and I ended up finishing part 5 and part 6 through audiobook. This is actually where I stopped before I got to work, and I listened to the rest on audiobook. So I was not able to update after 5 before 6. So we're just gonna do a conglomeration of it because I don't actually know where 6 started. So this is just gonna be kind of my wrap up of the ending. I don't know what I want to rate this book. This was such a weird book for me because part 1, 5-star. Parts 2 and 3 were like a 2. Part 4, I actually started really liking again, so that one was like probably a 4. Part 5 down to a 3/4. And then the last part, like the ending, was a 5. I really liked the ending. So I'm just like, I don't know what to rate this. I feel like because of the ending and the general idea behind this, I really like the idea behind it and I really like the characters. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give, I don't know, maybe a 3.75. I was gonna say a 4, but I just don't think it's as good as other 4s that I've given. But I liked part of it better than stuff I've rated 3.5. So I think I'm gonna go with 3.75. Again, I feel like it's kind of like a cop-out doing like 0.75s or 0.25s, but I think this is the 3.75 for me. Well, let's quickly talk about the stuff that I haven't talked about yet, which is the ending, of course. I absolutely loved the Crimson Dragon part where Crow takes her down and does not think about the fact that they're just 2 people making a deal. So Tress just jumps in and she's like, I brought you this person. That was so funny. That was so funny. It was so smart how she played that. I thought that was genius of Brandon Sanderson. I thought that was so good. That was one of my favorite parts of the book. I love when the dragon's like, she really is horrible, isn't she? And Tress is like, yeah. Yeah. I also love that they made it like a caveat that Tress wasn't actually dooming Crow to live with the dragon forever. It was actually helping Crow because the ailment was going to come back. So even though the dragon could help her for about a year, the spores would come back if she left where he lives. So I like that they did it that way because, again, Tress is supposed to almost be this like pure, just like nice character. It's very rare in a book that you just have a nice character. I feel like a lot of books now have to have morally gray main leads, etc. You have to have all this dichotomy, but Tress is just a good person. So I like that they kept it that way because I feel like if she had sold Crow to the dragon and Crow would be like miserable and etc., it would have kind of like changed Tress's character a little bit, even though she's trying to survive. It's just out of Tress's character to even help herself to survive. So the fact that she was able to help Crow at the same time, even though Crow is terrible, fits in perfectly in line with Tress's character. And I love that. I love reading from just like a good character. Like there's nothing else to describe her other than she's just a good person. And I feel like that's a rare thing to find in books and in real life generally. Love the conversation with Laggert after she comes back up and he's like, just shoot me now, because I know you're gonna do it. And she's like, I'll put you in the brig if you want me, like if that makes you feel better. And he's like, okay. Which I don't think she ever does. I think he just like wanders off. So that was funny. I started at this point I started having a sneaking suspicion that, was it Huck the rat, was actually Charlie, because there was hints throughout the book that he was Charlie because of the way he talked, the way that he acted about certain things, the way he just loved to ramble and tell stories and Tress would just listen to him. And I was like, this is reminding me of Charlie. But then my brain was like, no, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't make Charlie the rat. I loved it though. I loved the fact that Charlie was the rat the whole time and was trying to get Tress not to go there because he actually loved her. Because I was feeling really suspicious at the end. I love how they did it because Tress changed so much over the book that she finally ended up at the sorceress's place to get Charlie, and she got Charlie out from like his cell and he was all happy and smiling and stuff, and she was a completely different person. I was like, oh no, like they're not gonna work because she's been through so much and he hasn't changed at all. That is just not gonna work. So the fact that Huck was really Charlie and Huck was on this journey with her the whole time, or Charlie was on this journey with her the whole time, so he also changed as a person, I love that. I love that. Because it actually worked. Because once they finally said like, I love you to each other, it felt legitimate because he was there through this whole journey with her and understood and loved like who she is and who she became, etc. So I loved that. I felt like that was such a good like hidden romance through the whole book because it was there the whole time. You can't picture obviously a romance between a girl and a rat. So it wasn't the forefront, but it made such a compelling romance. That was what was so genius about it, is the romance did not take away from Tress's character and the storyline because it was hidden the whole time. But it was there, so at the end you believed it. Genius, like actually genius. So I absolutely love that reveal. I thought that was so good because by the time we got to Charlie, I was like, do I care about Charlie anymore? And then when Huck was revealed to be Charlie, I was like, yes, I do. I love Charlie. My neighbor's lawn people just showed up, so it's gonna be loud in this last part of the video. I never know how much actually comes through because sometimes it's really loud, the outside noise, and other times it's really quiet, so I don't know. But I don't have that much to say about this, like left of this, because it's just it's a straightforward story. I loved the narrator. So I did switch to the audiobook, like I said. I think I would have overall enjoyed the book better if I just listened to the audiobook because it did feel more Princess Bridey listening to it, and I loved the narrator. It took me a while to get used to Hoyd, but I also love the fact that Hoyd is a character in the Cosmere. I actually just started Mistborn after I finished this because I'm really curious to know more about the Cosmere and like what's going on. And I read like a reading order of the books, and this one comes last, even though you can read it separately, but apparently there's like a lot of like references from other books in the Cosmere to this one. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to read the Cosmere, see if I like it, and see if I like pick up on those quotes. Anyway, so yeah, really liked the audiobook. Thought it was really good. The same narrator for this is the same narrator for pretty much all of his other books in the Cosmere, which is fantastic. I like that continuity. But getting back to this book, Hoyt as the narrator was funny because he was just saying nonsense things but like explaining why it was going on the whole time, and he'd be like, oh man, I remember looking back on this moment, and I'm just like, this is cool. It's just a really, really neat way of narrating it that I really only seen in The Princess Bride and like more on the TV show side of things instead of book side of things. I love that we broke Hoyd's spell and that it was just a bet between the two of them and that they banished the sorceress, and then that got them in the king's good graces. I like that it ended also like a fairy tale. Like, it's just a cute ending and her and Charlie are now like part of a pirate crew, etc. And I love that idea. And it was just cute. So that's why I'm kind of giving it 3.75, just because I had such a big struggle in the middle. But I really do like how it ended, but it's not something that's going to like absolutely stick out to me. This may change if I read more of the Cosmere and then I go back and read this one afterwards, because I do love the world. I think the world is so, so cool. I would love a second book in this world on this planet. I think that would be really cool because there's just so much to explore. There was so much world building and we only got like a fraction of what this world like could be like. So I would absolutely love to follow another character on this planet. So I kind of hope he does that in the future. I don't know, because this was part of his like secret project, so I don't know if this will just stay like a separate standalone. But I get the hype. I get why people really like this. There's something magical about it. I had the same issue that I had with Legends and Lattes, where it was just a little too slow in some spots for me, and I just needed something more. I can't tell you 100% what it was, but it just didn't hit with me as much as it hit other people. And I love the side characters. Fort is one of my favorite side characters. I absolutely love him. He's so funny. Anne, I loved Anne's character. The fact that she couldn't hit the side of a barn, so funny. Was so funny. And when Tress was helping her aim and she was like aimed all the way over there, and like them talking about her exploits, them just taking stuff from her, like when she finds it, like a squirrel, like collecting things. It's just so funny. So there was, again, a lot of stuff that I liked about it. I feel like I don't have that many questions for this one. Like, I guess, what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Your favorite characters? Who are your least favorite characters? Which storylines did you like within the book? What did you think maybe about doing differently? Because again, I thought we were gonna go more on an adventure style thing. I didn't realize we were gonna stay with like the same group of people. Ended up happy that we did. I think it ended up working better because the emotional connection to the characters is what brought me back into the book, so I'm happy they did that. I just thought it was gonna be totally different than what it ended up being. If you want another book in this world, I hope you say yes, because the more people who say yes, maybe we can have another one in this world. Kind of just any of your other thoughts about it. Like I said, this was a very rather straightforward book, so I feel like there's not that much to say about it other than you liked it, you didn't like it, and why. So that's pretty much it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed August book club pick. I feel like a lot of people probably read this way before August, like when it came out a long time ago. Really excited that I got to read it this month, and it kind of forced me into reading it because I feel like this is one of those books that I would have just kept putting off. So I'm really excited that I read it. And September, I have not put out the announcement video yet. It's on my community page, but I know a lot of people miss those depending on like where you watch videos, because I think it only pops up like on your app feed, so I don't even know if it pops up on your computer. It doesn't pop up on mine, so I miss some stuff because it doesn't pop up. But on my community tab, we were voting for September and October's picks, so September is going to be Threads That Bind. I will be recording and putting out a video about the next couple months. I was just waiting to get November and December's picks as well. That's kind of the plan right now, but Threads That Bind if you want to start it now, if you want to put your library holds in, etc. So that is all that I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this book, or at least got something out of it. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future book club pick things and other videos. And make sure you comment down below on anything you thought about the book, etc. I love hearing from you guys. And if I ever don't like respond to you, it's either because I missed it or I just like read it previously and then just forgot to respond. So I read every single comment. Like, I read every single one, so just know that. Anyway, I had a great time reading this book and I hope you did too, and I'll see you guys in the next video.